We are live from Dubai International. We are riding through the
الأبواب
metro
تغلق.
in Dubai.
Doors closing.
We are now riding Dubai metro and we are waiting your feedback, your comments.
المحطة الأخيرة
You
لهذا
can
القطار هي
send me your
سنتر بوينت.
questions, send me your
المحطة
feedback,
القادمة هي
send me your questions, your feedback, or your
المحطة
information.
القادمة هي
Let me know from where you are watching our
Discovery
live.
Gardens. The next station is Discovery Gardens.
We are riding to towards Dubai Metro, and we are also recording our live. Toyota Building, Rolex Tower. Even Google knows these UA landmarks by unofficial names. We are reading some news from Times. So each Times is official newspaper from Dubai and UAE. So it says that Toyota Building, Rolex Tower. Even Google knows these UA landmarks by unofficial names. These are not official names, but Google knows their unofficial names. There is some lighting problem. The train is
الأبواب
let's see when the
تغلق.
train will change
Doors
its
closing.
direction. Then maybe the lighting will be okay. From rooftop advertisement to supermarkets and car showrooms, private brands became unlikely viewing landmarks.
المحطة الأخيرة لهذا القطار هي سنتر بوينت. المحطة القادمة هي
So, from rooftop advertisements to supermarkets and car showrooms, private brands became unlikely viewing landmarks, and many of their unofficial names still survive today. Unofficial names are public knows the buildings by their unofficial. The type is Toyota Building Dubai. Into Google. Sometimes we make silent because of the announcement in Dubai Metro. So we make the mic silent. So Toyota Building into Google and it knows exactly where you mean. However, Toyota Building is not actually the landmark's real name. The landmark on Sheikh Zayed Road is officially called the Nasir Rashid Luta Building. But for generations of UAE residents, the giant Toyota sign on its roof made it one of Dubai's most recognizable landmarks, and it is far from only example. Long before Google Maps, WhatsApp location pins, and GPS, residents gave directions using supermarkets,
الأبواب تغلق.
clothing stores,
Doors
car
closing.
showrooms, and giant signs. Here are some of the UAE landmarks better known by names residents gave them. Toyota Building, Nasser Rashid Luta Building. Toyota Building, actually the official name was Nasser Rashid Luta Building.
المحطة الأخيرة لهذا القطار Route 2020.
After some time, the train will change its direction, and then the lighting problem will be okay. So constructed in 1974, the 15-story building became known as the Toyota building after the famous rooftop sign was installed in 2018 and returned in 2022. The building is now being vacated ahead of demolition, but its unofficial name is likely to live on much longer. Lulu Center Karama Al Walid building. What many Karama residents simply call Lulu Center is actually Al Walid building. The supermarket became such a familiar landmark that the commercial name gradually became more useful to residents than the building's official name. Rolex Tower.
المحطة
Train just stopped at Dubai Metro Station.
الأبواب تغلق.
This is Dubai Metro.
Doors closing.
We are riding to Dubai Metro. I forget to open my mic. Anyway, now it's time to read the next news.
المحطة الأخيرة لهذا القطار يرجى من الركاب المتجهين إلى شاطئ الجميرة الانتقال إلى الترام من محطة مترو شبرا العقارية. The final destination of this train
Overlooking
is
Dubai Creek is officially the Dera Twin Towers.
the next. This is interchange station to
Dubai
Dubai
Creek is
Tram.
officially the Dera
Passengers
Twin
traveling
Towers,
to Jumeirah Beach,
but many
please
residents
interchange
identify
to
it
tram
as
at Shah
Rolex Towers
Realty
because
Metro
of the
Station.
huge Rolex branding on the rooftop, much like Toyota building. An advertisement high above the city became a navigation point below. Shatram building, Dera Tower. Another Dera landmark commonly known through its tenant is Dera Tower, which many residents simply call the Shatram building after the supermarket associated with the property. Sana Fashions disappeared. Sana Signal didn't.
المحطة القادمة هي مركز دبي. To Jumeirah Beach, please interchange to tram at Shobha Realty Metro Station.
Sana Fashions disappeared. Sana Signal didn't. Sana Signal in Karama got its name from Sana Fashions, a clothing store that once operated from a building complex at the location. The old complex was later demolished and Al Shafar Park Tower now stands there, but the name Sana Signal continues to be used by long-time residents. Car Museum Building, Al Sarkal Building.
الأبواب تغلق. Doors closing.
The Al Sarkal building in Dera became known among residents as the Car Museum building because of the private collection of cars housed there. Here too, what people associate with the property became more memorable than its official name. Car Museum.
المحطة Realty. This is interchange
So Al
station to
Fardan
Dubai
building,
tram.
Sheikh Hamdan building.
Passengers traveling to Jumeirah
In the
Beach,
Banias
please
area of Dera,
interchange to
Sheikh
tram
Hamdan
at
building
Shaba Realty Metro
is another
Station.
property many residents identify through a commercial name, Al Fardan building.
المحطة يرجى من الركاب
Why
المتجهين
business
إلى شاطئ
gave
جميرة
their to
الانتقال إلى الترام من محطة
the habit
مترو
extends
شوب
beyond buildings.
العقارية. The
National
next
Paints
station
Roundabout.
is Shaba Realty.
National Paints Roundabout became a
This is
familiar
interchange
Sharjah
station to Dubai
landmark
tram.
because of the
Passengers
company's
traveling
presence
to
nearby.
Jumeirah Beach, please interchange to tram at Shaba.
The habit extended beyond buildings. National Paints Roundabout became a familiar Sharjah landmark because of the company's presence there. While Galadari Roundabout was associated with Galadari Automobiles, Galadari Roundabout. Information online shows BMW Roundabout attributed to a BMW showroom and Mother Cat Roundabout to the Mother Cat Company and building on
الأبواب
Al-Wahda
تغلق.
Street.
Doors closing.
In Dubai, Danata similarly became a widely used navigation landmark for the surrounding junction and area, Danata. Abu Dhabi's Electra Street.
المحطة الأخيرة القطار هي سنتر بوينت. المحطة القادمة هي الفردان للصرافة. The final
Perhaps no example has endured quite like Electra Street, the road officially known as Sheikh Zayed. The first street is still widely called Electra Street. Long-time residents associate the nickname with the electrical and electronic business that once linked the road, lined the road, and the unofficial name has survived for generations. Electra Street. The map before Google Maps.
المحطة القادمة
The map before Google Maps. Before digital maps and location pins, knowing the right landmark could be as useful as knowing the street name. A giant Toyota sign, a supermarket, a car showroom, or a clothing store at a busy signal could tell someone exactly where to turn. The UAE has changed dramatically since those days. Buildings have been demolished, businesses have moved, and roads have been redesigned. But sometimes the name is the lasting thing to leave. We are just reading the Khaleej Times, official newspaper from Dubai and UAE. You can send your questions in the comments. What the hell? Trump threatens to strike Oman if they get in.
الأبواب تغلق.
Why
Doors
it's getting
closing.
Why it's giving me the old news always? Ramadan 2027 in UAE. Ramadan is also coming in next.
المحطة القطار هي سنتر بوينت. المحطة القادمة هي مدينة دبي بالإنترنت. The final destination of this train is Center
Sharjah
Point.
supervisor
The
tries to
next
settle dispute
station
with the
is
roommates, attacks one,
Dubai Internet City.
attacking resident with iron object. An accommodation supervisor who stepped in to break up a dispute between some residents ended up becoming an attacker himself, who was involved in the dispute with an iron object, leaving him with multiple injuries and fractures. The Sharjah court convicted the Asian defendant of assault and ordered him to perform community service instead of serving 3 months in prison. The confrontation began after the victim returned to his room after a shared room accommodation and found his clothing scattered, despite having arranged them before leaving. After this, he also discovered that one of his roommates had placed a tea kettle on his bed. Upon identifying the person responsible for this, the resident confronted him and demanded an explanation. The exchange became heated and developed into an argument, steps into calm situation. Accommodation.
المحطة القادمة.
However, the tension took an unexpected turn when an argument began to develop between the supervisor and the resident he had been trying to assist. As the exchange intensified, the supervisor lost his temper and became directly involved in the confrontation. He attacked the resident using an iron object, causing injuries and fractures that prompted the victim to report the incident to the authorities. The case was subsequently referred to the competent judicial authorities. When confronted with the assault charge, the defendant acknowledged that he had initially intervened to mediate and break up the dispute. He said, however, that the exchange of words with the victim and escalation of their argument angered him, leading him to carry out the assault.
المحطة الأخيرة لهذا القطار هي
The Sharjah court heard statements from the parties involved and witnessed and examined the evidence contained in the case filed before finding the defendant guilty. Rather than requiring him to serve a 3-month custodial sentence, the court ordered the man to perform community service as alternative punishment. So we are completing now 20 minutes. Our target is 1 hour. 1 hour will be in metro. Abu Dhabi reopens parks and beaches after unstable weather on Friday. Dubai airport back to school rush, 77 baggage screening machines. Flying to a different country for 4. What? Anyway, there are no other.
المحطة القادمة هي
So, the next news is Indigo flight from Tamil Nadu to Singapore returned after mid-air technical issue. The case business community reaches 50,000. Wow.
Your attention, please. The train to Centre Point will depart from platform 1.
Anyway, now next is time for
الأبواب تغلق.
Dawn News.
Doors closing.
Dawn News is official newspaper, credible newspaper from Pakistan. It says that Iran's army says any attack will face broader response. Pakistan army deployed in Rawalpindi for 6 months for sensitive
المحطة
security.
الأخيرة لهذا القطار هي سنتر بوينت. المحطة القادمة هي
federal government has authorized the deployment of three companies of the Pakistan Army in November 20 for 6 months for sensitive security duties. The Interior Ministry's order, a copy of which is available pursuant to the request made by the Punjab Home Department, the federal government, in exercise
المحطة
of
القادمة
powers conferred under Article
الإمارات. The next station is Mall of the Emirates.
U.S. judge strikes down police suspending immigrant visa processing for 75 nations, including Pakistan. PM Shehbaz directs authorities to provide financial assistance to flood-hit families. PM admonishes Islamabad Commissioner to give a display of palm and show. U.S. hits Canadian goods with 50% tariffs after trade talks fail. Let's see this news. USA and Canada. The lighting is actually exactly on facing the camera. That's why it's not proper. It should be in the back side. That's why. But here we are in the metro. We cannot adjust the lighting. Anyway, we have to record. So the USA imposed 50% tariffs on some Canadian goods on Saturday
الأبواب تغلق. Doors
after the two
closing.
long-standing allies failed to reach a trade deal, with each side accusing the other of derailing days of talks. The tariffs that came into effect just after midnight on some $20
المحطة
billion
الأخيرة لهذا
of
القطار
Canadian goods,
هي
things like wood and ice,
Center Point. المحطة القادمة هي
ice hockey sticks
Equity.
that are
The
really
final
animals
destination of this
are
train
far
is
from an economic game changer
Center Point.
for the
The
largest
next
US
station
partner.
is Equity.
For the largest US trade partner after Mexico, that represents just over 5% of Canada's exports to the US.
المحطة القادمة هي Equity. The next station is Equity.
But the new tariffs mark an increase in tension between Trump and Prime Minister Mark Carney and will likely make broader talks to renew Mexico-Canada free trade agreements more difficult. Carney said he had suspended trade negotiations with Canada, and Canada would retaliate dollar for dollar on the new tariffs. I have decided to suspend trade negotiations with the US and have directed Canada's negotiators to return to Ottawa. Their negotiators have worked hard in good faith to defend the interests of the Canadians throughout these negotiations up until the very last minute. However, last-minute changes in the US proposed terms were unfair, uneconomic, and called into question the reliability of
الأبواب
any deal.
تغلق. Doors closing.
Carney, the only person to ever run the central banks of two major economies, the only person to run the central banks of two major economies was elected last year.
المحطة
Promised to stand
الأخيرة
up to
لهذا
Trump
القطار هي
and remains
Center Point. المحطة القادمة هي On Passive. The final destination of this train is Center Point. The next station is On Passive.
Carney was elected last year on promises to stand up to Trump and remains broadly popular. Polls show most Canadians oppose making any concessions to Trump. Hours earlier, the two sides had seemed close to an agreement that sources would have lowered tariffs on steel, aluminum, and autos, and potentially brought Americans alcohol back to Canadian liquor stores. Tonight, Canada declined to finalize the trade deal under the terms agreed earlier this week. U.S. State Representative said during a White House briefing, this is a missed opportunity for Canada to partner with the U.S., which is the fastest growing economy in the G7. senior Trump administration official said the US offer would have put Canada in the best tariff position of any major exporter to the US, but that Canada had sought additional concessions, especially on steel, aluminum, autos, and softwood lumber. No additional talks are scheduled as the US implements the new duties, the official said. Trump last month threatened to impose a raft of duties on a range of Canadian imports, including wine, furniture, dairy products, cement, clothing, fishing rods, hockey equipment. The tariffs which do not qualify for preferential treatment under the US-Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement open up some already vulnerable sectors to potential severe damage that could lead to job losses and business closures. The decision by the US administration followed 3 days of talks in Washington between Canada's Minister of Trade with the US, Dominic and Greer. So this is the news from USA and Canada. Government hikes petrol price by rupees 3. First heart transplant center opens in Lahore. Wow. First heart transplant center opened in Lahore. CM Mariam Nawaz on Friday inaugurated Pakistan's first cardiac transplant center at Jinnah Institute of Cardiology.
On passive. The next station
Jinnah
is
Institute of Cardiology.
on passive.
Saying there was a need to change the mindset that better treatment could only be done abroad. She also announced the government would provide heart transplant treatment free of cost to deserving patients, as it would bear up to $50,000 for a heart transplant. By using Chinese technology, we will bring the cost of a heart transplant to around $10,000 so that more people can benefit from this facility. Heart transplant procedures at the Jinnah Institute of Cardiology will be done 100% free for cost. We have established Pakistan's first of its kind heart transplant center. The CM formally opened the Jinnah Institute of Cardiology, 250-bed state-of-the-art facility.
Doors closing.
The CM officially opened the Jinnah Institute of Cardiology, a 250-bed state-of-the-art facility built at a cost of 16 billion opposite the Jinnah Hospital residential area. Jinnah Hospital residential
المحطة الأخيرة لهذا القطار
JIC is an
هي
autonomous institute.
سنتر بوينت. المحطة القادمة هي الخليج التجاري. Center Point.
The hospital is
The
equipped with
station
modern
is
cardiac care facilities,
Business
including
Bay.
a catheterization laboratory, MRI, modular operation theaters, cardiac wards, pathology and radiology laboratories, intensive care and emergency departments. The Chief Minister praised UK-based cardiologist Dr. Hasnat Khan for returning to Pakistan to serve the patients. Dr. Hasnat Khan said he would help train doctors and staff at the institute, Jinnah Institute of Cardiology. Speaking to doctors and nurses, Shaji, hello Shaji, hello Asil, Kizilu, hello everyone. Shaji, where are you Shaji? I'm here riding in Dubai Metro. Send me your questions or comments. Speaking to doctors and nurses, CM Mariam Nawaz urged them to serve patients as Pakistan. We have to change the mindset that better treatment can only be done abroad. I tell ministers, bureaucracy, officers, doctors and everyone entrusted with responsibility that if we discharge our trust in the best possible manner, we will receive the best rewards. She expressed, we already recorded half an hour and the remaining is half an hour. She expressed satisfaction that the JIC had become fully functional and angiography procedures had also been performed there. The JIC was my dream. Jinnah Institute of Cardiology was my dream. I eagerly awaited its completion, says Maryam. She appreciated the performance of Dr. Azhar Kiani, Dr. Farkad Alamgir, Dr. Adnan Khan, CEO of the Infrastructure Development, CEO of the Infrastructure Development Authority Punjab, Shamir Iqbal, Health Secretary Azmat Mahmood, Secretary Nadia Saqib, and other members of the team. The CM announced the introduction of home dialysis machines in. She said that the Pakistan Institute of Cardiology (PIC), established by Muhammad Nawaz Sharif, was doing an excellent job in Lahore. Punjab, Pakistan Institute of Cardiology, with a population of around people from Punjab as well as Gilgit-Baltistan, Azad Kashmir, and KPK comes to the PIC with the growing prevalence of heart disease. It becomes difficult to cater to everyone through a single public hospital. The Chief Minister said that comparing Pakistan with Western countries was a favorite practice, but Pakistan is 79-year-old. Some Western countries have populations smaller than Lahore, or even a street or locally quality here. We are near now reaching the business bay area. She said that around 100 million people visited public hospitals last year. Medicine delivered at people's home. In which country does this happen? She, however, acknowledged that there was.
The next station is Business Bay.
Largest wastewater treatment plant gets center node. Approval in Punjab, Saudi. 4 arrested for exploiting citizens for passport issuance. Let's see this news from Lahore. The federal government has approved 56 billion for the country's largest wastewater treatment plant for Lahore, paving the way for its launch within the next 6 months after completion of the bidding process. The Executive Committee of the National Economic Council, in its meeting held on August 21, gave its approval. The project will be executed at Babu Sahib Lahore. A senior official
المحطة الأخيرة لهذا القطار القادمة هي. The final destination of this train is Center Point. The next station is Burj Khalifa, Dubai Mall.
It is the first ever wastewater treatment project in Lahore. The official maintained, adding that 24% of the total funds would be provided for housing, urban development, public health engineering departments, and 74% would be given by the agents franchise, a French government funding. The initiative aligned with the approved master plan water and sanitation agency (WASA) aims to provide the city with its first large-scale wastewater treatment plant. The housing department got it approved by the provincial development
The next station is
party.
Burj Khalifa, Dubai Mall.
The plant will be constructed in 3 phases. A 12-month pre-construction stage followed by 42 months of construction and a 36-month period for operations and maintenance. Under phase 1, sewage from central Lahore, including flows from the Kent Drain, Multan Road, and Gulshan Ravi pumping stations, will be discharged into the Ravi. After treatment, improving the city's environmental health, the phase 2 will consist of transition to full reuse, including reuse programs that would call up to include composting, RDF production, biochar manufacturing, fertilizer pelletization, brick production,
الأبواب تغلق.
and phosphorus
Doors
recovery.
closing.
The phase 3 activities include zero storage and circular economy. All reuse pathways would be fully
المحطة الأخيرة
integrated
لهذا
within a resource
القطار
recovery
هي
park, eliminating the need for additional
المحطة القادمة
achieving a
هي
circular economy model.
المركز المالي. The destination of this train is Center Point. The next station is Financial Center.
We will reach 35, now we reach 36 minutes almost. Where structural reform in Pakistan have never lasted. Lessons for
المحطة
Pakistan.
القادمة هي المركز المالي. The next station is Financial Center.
Dynamics of reorganization. While debating the question of carrying out more administrative units from Pakistan's existing 4 provinces, we may find it relevant to study how India has reorganized its states equivalent to our provinces since independence. The example is pertinent because of the shared circumstances of the two countries created out of undivided India. They inherited the same interim constitution, the Government of India Act 1935, which each adapted to fit its own context. We are facing the lighting problem in the metro. At this time, the lighting issue is
الأبواب تغلق. Doors closing.
both countries chose a parliamentary form of government. Pakistan opted a more explicit federal character, while India shield away from calling itself a federation. Instead, it opted to describe itself as a union with some of federal
المحطة
characteristics.
الأخيرة لهذا هي سنتر. المحطة القادمة هي أبراج الإمارات. The final destination of this train is Center Point. The next station is Emirates Town.
Probably India's more diluted form of federalism helped it carve an uncomplicated path for creating new provinces. A
أبراج
simple majority
الإمارات. The next station
in
is
parliament and a
Emirates
non-binding
Town.
consultation with the concerned states. Around the time of partition, undivided India consisted of 14 provinces and 587 princely states, of which 2 provinces, Bengal and Punjab, were partitioned. Both India and Pakistan received a part of each province. 3 provinces, Sindh, the Northwest, India province, now KPK, and British Pakistan, joined Pakistan, taking the tally to of provinces in India and Pakistan to 11 and 5 respectively.
الأبواب تغلق. Doors closing.
The reorganization of Indian states was triggered by language rights after political activists who had been demanding a separate
المحطة
state
الأخيرة
from
لهذا
died in 1950 following a fast hunt to
المحطة
death.
القادمة هي
When the
المركز
riots
التجاري
spread, the
العالمي.
government of India
The final
fast-tracked
destination
the Telugu-speaking Andhra state,
Center Point.
later called
The
Andhra
next
Pradesh,
station is
out of
World
Madras
Trade
state.
Center.
The demands for more states based on language spread. The Indian government constituted member states reorganization commission in December 1953, headed by a former judge of the Supreme Court.
المحطة القادمة هي المركز التجاري العالمي. The next station is World Trade Center.
As Pakistan debates new provinces, India's experience offers relevant insights. The commission constituted to propose the redrawing of its boundaries also came to be known as the Justice Fazal Ali Commission after the chairman. Its proceeding continued for about 21 months and it submitted its report in September 1955. Parliament finally passed the States Reorganization Act in 1956, leading to the redrawing of boundaries and the creation of 14 states and 6 union territories. Language was a major consideration but not the only one in the creation of the states.
الأبواب تغلق. Doors closing.
The creation of the new states continued even after the enactment of the States Reorganization Act 4 years later. Bombay state was split into the Gujarati-speaking Gujarat state and the Marathi-speaking Maharashtra. After persistent
المحطة
demands by
الأخيرة
the
لهذا
tribes,
القطار هي المحطة القادمة هي ماك. The final destination of this train is
because of its distinct language and culture. Indian Punjab was split into 3 parts with Punjabi-speaking Punjab, Hindi-speaking Haryana, and the northern tracts merged into Himachal. In all, 15 new states were created or upgraded from union territories after the enactment of the states reorganization. The latest such move saw the illegal splitting of Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir into the 2 union territories of the Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir in 2019. The latest tally is 28 states and 8 union territories. As stated earlier, most of the new states and union territories were created on the basis of identity such as language, ethnicity, culture, and geography, or the difference in the level of development in 2 parts of the state. There is hardly a case where a state was created just because of its large population. Uttar Pradesh, UP, with an estimated population of over 243 million, is a case in point. The state's population almost matches the population of Pakistan.
المحطة الأخيرة لهذا
Uttar
القطار
Pradesh,
هي
UP. The population of the US has increased 10 times since 1863, but not a single state has been carved out of
The final destination of this train
the
is
last state created this way was West Virginia, which had ceded Virginia
ADCB.
during the Civil War. What are the lessons from the 2 country case studies above? The first is that population on its own is not enough of a reason to split a province into 2 or more units. Pakistan's population has increased since 1997, but this alone may not justify the creation of more provinces. There may be merit in the proposal to create more provinces. Finally, we are going to close.
القادمة هي بنك أنور التجاري. The next
So
station
we are
is
going to close now.
ADC.
Network issue is making a problem for our life. So today we record our live from Dubai Metro. Dubai Metro, almost hour-long journey. There was rush, there was people, there was speaker announcement, there was station announcements. So we just completed our recording of 45 minutes. Now is the time to close. See you next time.
الأبواب تغلق. Doors closing.